Namaskar, everybody. Today, we're going to be discussing this really interesting topic, which is based upon the works by my guru, Sri Anandamurti, with Ananda Marga, which Ananda Marga means the path of bliss. And this topic is biopsychology. And so let me ask you a question. We'll start here. When you feel anger, where do you feel it? Does your jaw tighten? Maybe your shoulders tense up? You feel heat rising up the spine, or something cluttered within the head? Is this heat, hotness? But consider this. Every emotion we experience, anger, fear, joy, love, it isn't just a psychological state. It's a biopsychological reaction governed by the way we perceive the world, process that perception through our senses or our indriyas, and reflect it back inward through the mind. And this perception triggers very real, very specific hormonal responses in the body. Let me explain. So according to the teachings of Sri Anandamurti, our body is a biological instrument, and it's guided by the subtle workings of the mind and the Atman, okay? The spirit, soul, you could say. So at the heart of this kind of interplay is what he called biopsychology. It's a science of how our biological and psychological systems interact through the medium of the chakras. They're psychic and energetic centers that are aligned with our spinal column and the associated endocrine glands, and these glands and subglands. So each chakra corresponds to particular glands and mental propensities or vrittis. So these vrittis, they aren't abstract. They're actual functions of the mind, like fear, anger, shame, love, patience, logic, intuition. So in each of these vrittis, these mental propensities, when they are stimulated, they trigger hormonal activity through corresponding gland and subgland. So take anger, for example. When you perceive something unjust or threatening, say someone insults you or you feel cornered, your Manipura chakra, it's located at the navel, okay? It becomes activated because of the associated glands and subglands with this, and the corresponding mental propensity, the anger, the perception of anger. So this Manipura is associated with the adrenal glands, and they sit just above the kidneys. So these glands release adrenaline and cortisol, and this prepares the body for this fight or flight response. Your heart rate increases, right? Your pupils dilate, blood is redirected to your muscles. You're ready for combat, right? You're ready for combat at this point. And here's what's fascinating. This doesn't just happen because of external danger. It happens simply because of how you interpret what's happening. And perception is key here, okay? The sense organs take in data, okay? The indriyas, the sense organs, they take in data. That's what they do. Our eyes, our ears, they take in all of this information. They take in the tone of somebody's voice, body language, words, and the mind reflexively processes and assigns meaning. So that meaning then becomes an emotion, and the body responds biochemically, right? Let's take fear here as well. So fear is often processed through the Svadhisthana chakra. It's located in the lower abdomen. So this chakra governs the reproductive glands, but it also has influences over the adrenal medulla in sudden life-threatening events. So fear tightens the lower abdomen. It triggers hormonal responses that can include norepinephrine, additional cortisol, and depending on the intensity of it, right? It affects our digestion, our sexual energy, our ability to remain calm, so many different things here, okay? Now let's not leave out other emotional states like love. So love, we can move up the Anahata chakra. It's located in the center of the chest. So this is the domain of the thymus gland, which in the thymus gland, it plays a major role in our immune function, right? Love, compassion, devotion. These vrittis, mental propensities, they stimulate the Anahata chakra, and they can quite literally boost your immunity. Right? You feel expansive, generous, you feel connected. So now imagine a life where your perception is so reflexive, so automatic, that you're constantly living in reaction rather than response, right? Constantly living in reaction, cycling between anger, fear, guilt, desire, shame, love, never really choosing anything, only reacting. And most people, unfortunately, they live exactly that way. And here's where Anandamurti offers something profoundly liberating with this. He teaches that we are not the body, we're not the mind, right? We are this witness, this Atman. So the mind is the stage upon which these vrittis play out. But the self, the Atman is the observer. It's the one who sees, right? This is the aspect of the self-realization. So when you learn to step back from the mind to become the observer of the thought, the observer of feeling, then something quite miraculous happens here. You no longer have to react. You begin to respond. You begin to choose. So when a situation arises that might trigger anger, you can pause and you can watch the sensation arise in the navel. You can observe the thought, the emotion, and you can choose not to feed it. You can direct the mind towards these higher vrittis like forgiveness, rationality, or even humor. Right? This is what it means to move beyond conditioning. So there was a lot of noise for me in the background here. So biopsychology, it isn't just a theory, right? It's a practical path to liberation from the automated dance of hormones and reactions. So it empowers us to become architects of our inner world by understanding the interface between perceptions, glands, and the mind. So every time we reflect on, say, a smell, a sight, a word, we're unconsciously triggering hormonal cascades through our endocrine system. And every one of those reactions is tied to a chakra. So let me walk you through the basic chakra gland and emotional map that Anandamurti described here. So the first one is the Muladhara chakra. This is the root chakra. It's at the base of the spine. This is associated with survival instincts and excretory glands. So vrittis here, they include fear of death, instinctual desires, attachment to form. Okay. The second is the Svadhisthana chakra. This is the sacral chakra. This is just below the navel. It's linked to reproductive glands and associated with pleasure, shame, guilt, and dependency. And then we have the Manipura. So that's the navel chakra. This is the navel area. These are the adrenal glands. This governs willpower, aggression, self-esteem, ambition. And then we have the Anahata. This is the heart chakra. This is the center of the chest. This is the thymus gland. This is the source of love, compassion, surrender, devotion. Then the Vishuddha. This is the throat chakra, right? The throat. This is thyroid and the parathyroid. It governs communication, creativity, discrimination between right and wrong, proper discernment here. There's also bija mantras to go along with each one of these, and we'll cover that. So, and then we have the ajna. This is the third eye, right? It's between the eyebrows. It's the pituitary gland. This is the master controller of the lower glands. It's associated with clarity, intuition, intellect. Then we have the Sahasrara chakra. This is the crown chakra at the top of the head. This is the pineal gland. This is the seat of bliss, ananda, and spiritual connection. So the journey here of spiritual growth in Ananda Murti's vision is one of transforming the lower vrittis, governed by the lower chakras, into the sublime vrittis, right, governed in the higher centers. And we do this by learning to watch, to witness, to serve, service, self-realization, through different practices, through lifestyle, through it's called dinacharya. So and we call that our routine, right? Through dhyana, through dharana, through sadhana. Okay. So all of these things, mantra, asanas, diet, yama, niyama, all the limbs of yoga. So all of these things support this entire process. They help regulate the flow of energy because we are shifting our perspective, our awareness into a routine and pattern and behavior which aligns with these deeper systems, right? And it gradually lifts the consciousness upward. So the next time you feel anger or fear or even love, don't just experience it, okay? Observe it. Just watch it. See it first. Observe it. Ask yourself, what chakra is active? What gland is being stimulated? What vritti or mental propensity is this? Am I choosing this, or is this choosing me? Okay? Then just take a breath. Turn the attention inward. And remember that you're not the anger, you're not the fear, you're not even the love, okay? You're the one who sees them all. And within that, there's something much more profound occurring, right? This is where the sense of true freedom begins. Now, if you imagine, say, communities, families, schools, societies, if all of these people begin to understand this, imagine children learning not only about anatomy and math, but how to observe their emotional processes in real time, right? They can regulate, self-regulate immediately. Imagine healthcare grounded in consciousness, where people learn to manage anxiety, not just with pills, right, but through inner mastery. It takes time, though, time and focus. It doesn't mean that, we're perfect at this. I'm far from any kind of perfection with this at all, but I have a path, a routine, a structure that I follow, and every single time I do it, it strengthens it just a little bit more. So Ananda Murti said spirituality is not a luxury, it's the most practical science. So biopsychology is one of its tools, and it's this inner user manual, right, for this human instrument that we've inherited. And the more we use it, the more we become what we truly are. Not victims of biology or our situations, and not slaves of conditioning. We become these luminous conscious beings with choice, dignity, and divine potential, right? This is quite a beautiful process. And I appreciate all of you walking with me through all of this. I just invite you, as I invite myself to do, is to reflect, meditate, and test these ideas in your own experience. Observe those vrittis, those mental propensities, those thoughts, patterns, and perspectives. Feel those chakras. Be present. Be free. Namaskar.